O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm speaking in this debate as a new member of the Health Select Committee, but like every New Zealander, and I guess Australian too, someone who's deeply interested in this area of assisted reproductive technology. I have to say I didn't know whether it was a joke or not when they asked me to speak, because I guess I've had jokes made by my colleagues about me, who is the proud and lucky father of 5 daughters. They always had me on about trying to restrict, I guess, the reproduction of my family. I have to say that I'm lucky that I didn't have the challenges faced by many people who were trying to assist. And since 1994, 100,000 people in New Zealand and Australia are here because of this new technology, and that's something to truly rejoice in and celebrate. And this bill, relatively minor amendment, tidies up some misunderstandings that have occurred as a result of the passage of the bill in 2004. And I, in reading through the notes and not the entire bill in itself, I couldn't help but come up with a few points and questions, I guess. And firstly, I have to acknowledge Di Yates, who in caucus I can remember her going on and on about this and raising the issues, and a member may laugh, and I guess we underestimated the importance. No. And as I say, jibes were made at me at that time as well. But it is important, and technology is moving forward so quickly that we had to try and stay ahead of some of the ethical issues around this. And Speaker Kevin Haigh, fellow West Coaster, raised a number of these issues, things that the Law Commission has identified, and I can see in the time since the passage of the bill that there have been other areas that he didn't mention, DNA technology, for example. And what this bill is doing is ensuring that some eggs can be, and sperm can be carried or stored beyond 10 years. Now that's great. There's still uncertainty over what that might mean long term. And as my colleague, the Honourable Steve Chadwick, said, the Ethics Committee or the Advisory Committee may come back in a few years' time and say, hold on, we should wind that back a little bit from 10 years. This will be 14 years for some, and we hope that with the best of intentions we are doing the right thing here. But if I come back to the question around DNA technology, Mr. Speaker, and I think we will need to bring back into the House, because I don't think the Greens have said, and we certainly support a review of the bill, so that as technology allows the identification of genetic traits in ova and sperm, then the selection process that could potentially occur in any storage system should be assessed by an ethics committee. Should this or should it not occur? And I know we've already got into some very tricky situations over this area. Technology will allow us to identify potential disabilities with not unborn children, but in fact, as I said, the sperm and the ova. And how should we handle that dilemma? Having discovered what we can do and then evolving it, how do we address the issues, not only, parental responsibility, about genetic identification with parents and any traits that children should know about, then who should make the call? Should we be able to identify through DNA technology genetic deformities that might occur in children born from this technology? I put that question on the table. I'm a member of the Health Select Committee. I almost don't want to be part of the committee that deals with the difficult issue, but someone's going to have to, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure that the advisory committee, Paul Quinn might. He's offering to resolve it. I can see the wisdom coming from him. He'll be able to resolve it, because I confess that it's something that it is so difficult, very technical, and of course highly ethical, the issues around decision making. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to speak too much longer on this other than to say that we support the bill. It does make the changes necessary, but let's not think for a moment that this is the last word in this area. I think as technology moves forward, we're going to have to answer harder and harder questions, and I expect that the incoming Labor government next year will have to address these issues. Mr Powers looking very relieved that he won't have to as Minister of Justice. I can just see the weight going off his shoulders there. He thinks, oh, thank God for that. Because in fact, probably in the end God is the only one with the wisdom to make these calls. But in the end, ethics committees, advisory committees and members of Parliament through the Select Committee and ministers will have to make the call. So we're prepared to take that on as one of the challenges that we'll have after next year's election. Thank you, Mr Speaker.